Welcome to the Hustle Factory podcast show.
All we do is hustle.
And here's your host, John Lindemus.
He's kind of a big deal.
Bringing you amazing insights and views of entrepreneurship on today's society.
Hello everyone, and this is episode 7 of the Hustle Factory podcast show. In today's episode, I will be talking about winning and failing. In today's society, winning and failing actually differs on every person's point of view or perspective. For instance, one person might see winning as a symbol of success, and on the flip side of that, people often see failing as a symbol for overall failure or a taboo at all. From my own point of view or perspective, I feel like that the majority of people these days, and especially in the society that we live in today, they have this weird mentality where they worry too much about winning or failing. You get the gist, right? And I mean, although the episode is about winning and failing, my main focus for today's episode is for me to simply analyze and kind of create a conclusion by summarizing different perspectives of winning and losing by each individuals in today's society. So let's get on to the first point of this episode, guys. So let's talk about winning. I do know one thing for sure is that everyone wants to win all the time. I mean, who doesn't want to win? I mean, who doesn't want to win all the time anyways? Although, when it comes to the minds of entrepreneurs, the whole perspective of winning differs now. It changed the whole thing now. It changed the settings to that. So, as great leaders like Gary Vaynerchuk, Steve Jobs, Tai Lopez, and other great entrepreneurial leaders, they do not have the mentality of worrying too much about winning or losing. Instead, these great entrepreneurial leaders rather focus on the most important aspect of entrepreneurship, and I believe it is one of the most important aspects of entrepreneurship, and that is to improving themselves and getting better than yesterday. Be better what you are from yesterday, and that is why it is called the past, ladies and gentlemen. And as an entrepreneur, I see winning and losing as a very valuable tool or asset to my upcoming success. Now, what I mean by that is that I do not see either of them as a one-time deal. Rather, I see both of them as a repetitive tool, or rather a valuable asset that I can incorporate to get better and improving myself every time. The bottom line is this: if you keep worrying and keep obsessing over winning, then you are becoming more stressful than ever and less productive to yourself, which can get worse in the end. Now that I have discussed my point of view on winning, now it's time for me to get on to the second part of the episode. Failing, losing, defeat. Those are just some of the few words that we all hate hearing, and especially happening to us. But you know, guys, in general, we all hate losing in the first place. Whether from playing a game, a friendly bet with your friend, and oh well, the list can go on fucking forever. Like literally forever. While there are many things out there that I would love to talk about failing in this episode, I would just rather go ahead and just talk about the most important points about failing or losing in this case. Just like what I mentioned earlier, people tend to get worried and get obsessed way fucking too much about winning and losing. And that's just crazy, if you know what I mean. Now, this is where failing actually differs from winning. I mean, not because failing is failing, not that. Did you know that the majority of people in the society that we live in today, they have this really crazy and stupid mentality where individuals see and think losing as a bad thing, or it is just some sort of unacceptable fate to them? Well, fuck that. Fuck that. You heard me loud and clear, guys. Fuck that mentality. So here's the deal then. In the mind of an entrepreneur, that is not necessarily the case then. In the minds of a great entrepreneur, they do not worry at all about losing at all. In other words, entrepreneurs should not give a fuck about losing at all. For entrepreneurs like me, we see failing as a powerful yet valuable asset for our upcoming success in the future. So we are almost in the near end of this episode. During this part, I would like to summarize on everything that I've mentioned so far on this episode as regards of winning and failing or losing in this case. To be honest though, I somehow forgot to mention something during this episode. The episode that I'm currently recording right now is basically like a sneak peek of the next 2 episodes I will be publishing next time. In other words, these episodes that I'm recording right now is just a quick summary about different perspectives of winning and failing. And lastly, there's another good reason why this episode is just a summary of winning and failing. Just plain and simple, very simple. Because on the next 2 episodes, I will be discussing a very detailed episode for both of them. So make sure to tune in to the next episode after this episode, guys, because they're gonna be amazing and great as well. So here are my last remarks for this episode, and here's the deal. I know people out there, especially in the today's society that we live in today, have different opinions and views when it comes to winning and losing. I totally get that, guys. Although That does not mean I would just go ahead and stay on the winning side. Rather, I am very neutral on both sides. But if you ask me, I'm more in favor of losing rather than winning. Now, I know you're all probably thinking right now, why in the fuck would you say something like that, John? Well, I totally get your concern, guys, but it is really not that bad when you think about it really hard. And yes, I know it is totally weird as fuck and very unorthodox thinking, but trust me, I know what I'm talking about. But like I said before, if you really thought about it real carefully and when you will know what I'm talking about, guys. And although I think about it, just think about this for a second, guys. Does it even matter if you win or lose or fail? Does it even fucking matter at all? To be honest, there isn't really a straight answer to this question. Although I would say that the best answer to this lies within to your deepest desire. It lies to the within to your last desire, and to the point of being is this: you guys need to stop worrying whether you win or lose, because at the end of the day, it will only result on one thing: you either win or lose. Well, guys, that pretty much wrap up for today's episode. But before we call it a day for this episode, I will go ahead and announce the future SoundCloud artist for today's episode. As I have mentioned from the previous episode of the podcast show, I will now be doing an awesome segment where I will be featuring some of the SoundCloud artists every episode, and I will be also giving them a quick shout out for them. So today's featured SoundCloud artist is 17th Avenue. Did I say that right? 17th Avenue, because it's spelled the numbers 17 and then AVE. So I just assume it's 17th Avenue. And anyways, and she is a female rapper. So enjoy the sample clip of her latest song, All We Got, on SoundCloud. Enjoy.
Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need. Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need. Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need. They asking what we doing, what's the wave, how we move. Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need. Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need. Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need. They asking what we doing, what's the wave, how we move. Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need. Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need. Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need. They asking what we doing, what's the wave, how we move. Me and my niggas all we got. Me and my niggas all we need.
So you just listened to 17th Avenue's latest music, All We Got. And if you would like to check the full song of this, make sure to check her out on SoundCloud, and you can also check her other songs as well through SoundCloud. And also you can also check her music on iTunes and as well on Spotify. And if this is your first time listening to my podcast show, make sure to subscribe to my podcast show through SoundCloud, and don't forget to check us out on our social media platforms on Twitter and Facebook page as well for updates on upcoming new episodes and some other news as well. Also, the Hustle Factory podcast show is now available to stream on iTunes and Google Podcasts now. Just hit the search bar and type in the Hustle Factory podcast show, and you'll see it there immediately. And lastly, if you are a SoundCloud artist or independent artist who are looking for an easy way to promote your music, then go right ahead and follow our Twitter page at H Factory Podcast. And I will go right ahead and get back with you as soon as possible. And I will go ahead and tell you more details about it and how to get onto it. Other than that, I would like to thank everyone who took the time to listen to my podcast show today. And I really appreciate for all the support you have given me so far, guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are lit. Fucking awesome. So make sure to tune in to the next episode, which I will be discussing about winning and failing. Thanks again. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Hustle, passion, and grind. Later.